Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to go through on a new chapter of class 8 NCERT syllabus, that is reflection of light. So first the question raised is, what is light? So a light is a form of energy which is responsible for the sense of sight in human eyes. It can be called as radiation that is emitted, reflected, or absorbed by different objects. So light basically is a form of energy that helps us to see. It helps the human eye to see what is outside. And it can be emitted. Emitted means produced. And reflected, we will study about that, what is reflection, and absorbed by different objects. A mirror is a glass having a shiny surface. So what is a mirror? According to science, a mirror is a object that is a glass, you can say is a glass that reflects the light, that has a shiny surface and reflects the light. So your phone screen guard is also a mirror only because it is also reflecting the light. Not that much, but yeah, it's also reflecting the light. When light falls on a mirror, it is reflected back. Hence, a mirror changes the direction of light that falls upon it. So, when the light is when the light falls upon on a mirror, then it is reflected back. The mirror changes its direction. So now we are going to study it more well. What is the law of reflection? What are the laws of reflection? So first let us go through this diagram. Let me tell you what are these: normal, reflected ray, incoming light, mirror. So this is incidence ray of light or incoming light, you can say. When the ray which is falling on the mirror, it is known as incoming ray, incidence ray, incoming ray, you can see it anything. And this is, you already know that this is a mirror and it is reflecting back the ray. So when this incidence ray is reflected, the reflected ray is known as reflected light or reflected ray of light. Okay, and this is a normal. And now you will say, what is normal, sir? So a normal is a imaginary line that lies on the point of incidence. This is point of incidence. Okay, it lies on the point of incidence and is formed perpendicular to the shiny surface. Okay, so it is perpendicular to the mirror. Now what are these angles? So the angle created between incidence ray and normal is known as angle of incidence, and the angle created between reflected ray and normal is called angle of reflection. Okay, so here are the definition. You can take screenshot to make notes. Okay, so now we are going to go through first law of reflection. So first law of reflection says the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection, they both are equal to each other. If angle of incidence is 45 degree, then angle of reflection would be 45 degree. Same. Okay, so I hope I am clear. Now what the second law says is the incidence ray, the reflected ray, the normal, the angle of incidence, the angle of reflection, they all lie in same plane, same medium. Okay, formation of image by plane mirror. So this diagram, don't go deep through in this diagram, just understand what it wants to say. It wants to say that the image created of the object is always virtual. Okay, because when the object reflects the light on the mirror, they must get reflected back, but it still forms the image. So it is a virtual image. So what is a virtual image? A virtual image is a fake image, okay, that doesn't exist in real life, but it is created. So it is called virtual image. Now what are the characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror? So it has the same height as the object. The image has the same height as object, okay. If you would say that you are 5'5" tall, then the image would be 5'5" tall. They would be same. The distance between the image and the mirror and the object and the mirror is always equal. So if you are standing 10 centimeter away from the mirror, then the image would be standing 10 centimeter away from the mirror. The image is erect or upright. The image is laterally inverted. It is a virtual image because it is formed by apparent intersection of diverging rays. So it is saying that upright. Upright means it is correct. And your legs would be not above your head. The image would be correct. And erect, you would say erect, okay, you would say erect. The image is erect, and the image is laterally inverted. We will talk about lateral inversion. And it is a virtual image because it is formed by apparent intersection of diverging rays, okay. So what is lateral inversion? When an image is formed in a mirror, the left side of the object appears at the right side of the image and vice versa. This is called lateral inversion, okay. So let me tell you with an example. You can see the image. The person is raising his right hand, but the image shown, the person is raising his left hand. Why? Because this is lateral inversion. When you raise your right hand, it would raise his left hand, and if you raise your left hand, it would raise his right hand, okay. And don't get confused in this vice versa. This means that this is opposite of something, okay. Now regular and diffuse reflection. Regular reflection means when the parallel rays of lights fall on a smooth surface and gets reflected as parallel they were already, they are known as regular reflection. So you can take example of image formed by plane mirror. Firstly, let me tell you that the surface must be smooth and must reflect the ray. So the plane mirror, you already know that it is smooth, so it reflects the ray parallel. And now what is diffuse? Diffuse reflection, when the light falls on a rough surface like this, you would say ubad khabad, so like that. So when the light rays fall on a rough surface, they would get reflected in any direction. That cannot be told due to grooves and ridges inside the surface, okay. So you can take example of reflection of rays of light through a wall, okay. Your wall also reflects the light, but they get reflected in any direction, so you cannot see the image. Now, new topic: illuminated objects and luminous objects. Illuminated objects are the objects that do not produce their own light but reflect the light after the light falls on them. You can take example of the moon. The moon takes light from the sun and reflects it back towards the earth. And the children say that the moon is producing its own light, but that's not true. the sun's rays are reflected by the moon towards the earth. Okay. And now luminous objects. Luminous objects, objects which can produce light on their own, are called luminous objects. Tube light, bulb, sun, stars, they all produce their own light. The sun all produces its own light, and when the light falls on the moon, the light are reflected back. The light is reflected back towards the earth, and this is called illuminated object. This is called luminous object. I hope you have understood the topic. Now question raised is, can reflected ray reflected again? Multiple reflections can be obtained by placing more than one mirror at certain angles to each other, which results in reflection of light for multiple times between the reflecting surfaces. This phenomenon is used in certain scenarios, such as in a periscope to see hidden objects, in a kaleidoscope to see beautiful patterns, in a barber shop to see back of the head of a person getting a haircut. So when you go for a haircut, you say भैया मेरे पीछे वाले बाल भी दिखा दो. So then the barber shows his mirror towards the main mirror, and you see in the main mirror that your head. You see your head in the main mirror, because the reflected ray is getting reflected again. Okay. I didn't found the image of this phenomenon. I would have shown that, so that would be more easier to you. So now periscope. A periscope is an instrument that is used to look at the objects that are not in the line of sight of the observer. So in a submarine, there's an instrument which is called periscope. It is like this Z shape. Okay. So it helps the person inside the submarine to see outside the water. The submarine is under the water, but this instrument helps the person to see outside the water, what's happening outside. Okay, so it's a very important instrument. Now how this happens? So firstly, the suppose here's the object and it is reflecting the light towards this hole, and the mirrors are kept in a certain angle that the ray is reflected at the perpendicular 90 degree, okay, towards this mirror, and this mirror is also kept at a certain angle that this ray is reflected again at perpendicular towards the human eye. Okay, so here is the object, the ray is reflected, it is reflected 90 degree at 90 degree, and it is reflected again at 90 degree, and the person sees the object. Okay, so that's a very interesting tool. Now kaleidoscope. Okay, so kaleidoscope is a device that works on the phenomenon of multiple reflections with the help of multiple mirrors. It at least consists of 3 plane mirrors. Okay, this is kaleidoscope. This is a kaleidoscope, and it is there are 3 mirrors, 1 2 3, you can see. Okay, and some bangles or broken glass, pebbles, balls are kept inside the device, and when the human sees through a eyepiece, and the light is reflected enters from the other end, the human eye sees beautiful patterns inside a kaleidoscope. So this works on phenomenon of multiple reflections. Okay, so this kaleidoscope is made with the help of 3 plane mirrors and see what it creates. Okay, so we have completed our chapter reflection of light. I hope you liked the video. If you liked my video, please subscribe, and this video has target of 100 likes. If this video gets 100 likes, I would definitely make another video on refraction of light. So have a good day. Bye all of you. Thank you.